Run like the wind. Yes. Morning, y'all. Morning.
One.
Ooh, she ate me today.
I just sound Brian.
Today is the day.
How do you know how to look at cake? How do you know how you want the cake?
You're crazy.
But every time I know how to look at cakes, it slips off my hands. I don't know why.
You're okay without it. Jamie!
Alright, y'all, welcome to class. Today we're having that discussion you guys asked for. So, what y'all need is your reading packet out. And what I'd like to see you guys doing before we get into a circle.
Can we do it? No, can we do it?
But yeah, we'll do the thing seminar in a second. Before you guys even get started, I want y'all to take a couple minutes and look for evidence that you would like to use to back up what you were saying.
We already have our video packet.
Well, then get out your reading packet so that it's like all handy. And then, yeah, you can get in the thing.
There is no evidence.
There is no
Run.
there is no evidence.
Huh? Yes, there is. The guy killed them and they made him mad. Okay, but
Where in the reading packet do you hear about
Yeah.
what?
I just need to find something.
He said, where? No. He said, where? Oh my God, man. He said, where in the reading packet?
when there's more than two?
That's where the word began.
Like there's
That's
still
where
a
the word
war.
was.
That's where
Because of that war, that's what they got their alliances. What do you mean?
The alliance was there without the war.
Dude, but that's when the alliance was activated, dude.
No, which we activated.
Like that's when everyone said,
Wait.
that's when everyone said, I'm an ally, I'm an ally, I'm an ally.
start
That's when
yet.
everyone said that.
Don't start again. Stop. You gotta say what you got to. So you can count as a grade.
Alright, so let me get y'all's attention real quick. I need everybody to stop talking and pay attention so that we can set up this like awesome discussion that you're already all having. Alright, today we are going to think about who is responsible for World War I. Your job in this, like everybody's job in this today, is to come out of class with a very clear idea of who you think is responsible for the war, however you interpret that question. Yeah. Okay, wait. Listen to the whole thing. Everybody listen to the whole thing. And towards the end, if we have towards the end, if we have time. I also want to get y'all to start thinking of, actually I'm not going to ask you the second question because it'll affect your first question. Forget what I just said. Everybody in here needs to come out of the room with a very clear idea of who is responsible for World War I. Marcella. If you are, okay, everybody stop moving for a second. I have like one thing to say today and then I'll be done. Okay, if you are a person with a strong opinion or if you would like to challenge people's arguments, when I stop talking, you can move to the center. If you are on the outside, I'm going to assume, are you listening? If you're on the outside, your job is to listen and only to listen for at least the first 20 minutes. Because I want you to form an educated opinion, and ideally these guys will be citing evidence and you can weigh that evidence and decide who you think is convincing. After about 20 minutes, I'll come around with like some paper so that you can write out your answers. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, when we get to the writing out your answers part, what I want you guys to do is to sell me on your view, like convince me, be persuasive. Write however you want to in order to persuade me. I'm not gonna look for like correct answers, but I think that we need to start thinking about emphasizing style in history writing because it kind of matters. So be persuasive. I'll talk about that more in a minute. Do you guys have any questions before we get started? Okay, and I guess apparently today we're doing Juan's idea. Yeah? So Juan, why don't you explain your idea to everybody so everybody knows why you're sitting where you are. So everybody have your voices off and listen to Juan explaining why they're sitting where they are.
Germany.
So this other.
Yeah, that's other. That's a long shot.
Okay.
Austria, and then the middle.
Okay, so basically you guys are sitting based on what you think initially, is that right?
Yeah.
And then are you planning on moving as you change your mind or moving at the end?
Moving in between.
As you change your mind? Okay, we're gonna try it because it's y'all's idea and I think that that's a cool creative idea. If it turns out that moving while people are talking makes it harder to talk, then yeah. Does the outside have any questions? Okay, so what are you doing on the outside? What's the expectation? Listening. And you're listening specifically for arguments that are going to form your opinion about who is responsible for World War I. Good job. All right, so here's a bunch of stuff that may or may not help you answer that question. Who's responsible? Is it a state? Is it a long-term factor like militarism, alliances, imperialism, or nationalism? Is it an event or an individual's decision? I want us to stay on that question. If we get through that question, we'll move on. But it sounds like you guys are kind of chomping up a bit to argue about it, yeah? Okay, so with that said, I'm going to stop talking.
Since I have the most outlandish, like, answer, I'll explain my first. I think that Britain is the one who's responsible. I think the factors that are most responsible would be like alliances. And I think it's Great Britain because they were like, I feel like the biggest power at the time. They had a whole bunch of colonies everywhere and I feel like they had the most everything. And so when they got involved at the closer to the end, you could argue that it was Germany when they crossed Belgium and forced them, but I feel like they didn't have to get in, but that's when it became like the whole world's problem because Great Britain had places everywhere, while it was just like, basically it was just that little place in Europe, while when Great Britain got involved, it became everybody, so.
I see your point, because in the reading, like, I read it last night, and it was like, it said something about how, like, if Great Britain hadn't been involved, then I guess like it would have just been like France, Germany, and Russia mostly, and we could have just like solved it quickly, France, Russia came up and Germany. So but then Great Britain came in, and it was like, it made it more complicated. So, yeah, but I'm kind of in the middle because, I mean, it started off with Austria, but at the same time, like, I asked you this question at the beginning of class, like, if Germany actually, like, helped Austria, because I got confused, because when I was reading it, it was just like, it just started talking about mostly Germany and like how they started doing stuff, but it was like, but it could also be Russia, I guess, because they said that the war started with mobilization and Russia was the first one to start with that, and then that's why Germany started like thinking of plans and stuff, and so I was just like, so what is it? So yeah, I'm just in the middle.
I think what started it is kind of what should be responsible for it. And I say Austria started it when they took over with the Sarajevo.
The what?
Sarajevo.
Sarajevo, yeah?
Yeah, Sarajevo. If they hadn't taken over that place in Serbia, then there wouldn't really be an argument to be had there in the first place. And so it wouldn't have had to escalate to what it became, which was the Great War. But I'm not saying like Austria is necessarily responsible for making it really big, but I'm saying Austria is responsible for the big start of it.
I feel like whoever was responsible, it's like seeing like a real world picture is like, let's say a fish pond and pond actually be and you start fighting. People can argue, oh, I was responsible for pushing pond, but pond was this. And other people can argue pond was responsible because he punched me. And coach put a punch. And I'm more on the side of a punch. Shove, like a fish, you can ignore it, you can walk away from it, but instead you decide to escalate it. I think you should be responsible because you escalated. And I get where you're coming from how she started it, but I feel like when Germany escalated, and I correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but yeah, Germany was already having a plan to attack France before the war. The war was just another reason why Germany added use of those little attack France, but they were already having that plan to attack France.
Like I said, yeah, they were gonna attack France, like they already started doing it when the France attack, but it was because they knew that Russia and France had an alliance, so they were like, you know what, let's take one of them out first, because that way then we only have to deal with one of them. And Russia was the first one to start mobilizing, and it's like back then it was said after this that mobilization meant war or whatever, and it was merely a step towards war. And since Russia was the first one to take that step, they like Germany considered them to have like initiated it, but then and so then they wanted to like make sure they were only dealing with them, because if Russia and France have that alliance, they're gonna be on both sides, and so they wanted to just deal with one, and they didn't want to go into Russia because it's like unknown territory. They weren't very industrialized. They didn't have a lot of railroads. They took a lot of time. They were like, you know what? Let's not deal with them right now. We'll deal with them when they get to us. I'll let them come in first. And since Russia was probably like, hey, you know, France, you gotta help us, you know, since these guys were like big and bad, but come at us. And Germany was like, you know what, let's just go to them. But France had their borders fortified against Germany, so they were like, no, that's what you told us. And then that's when Britain got in.
I feel like nationalism is like one of the major causes for it. And I say that because when I say nationalism, I keep thinking of like pride and like I feel like Germany's pride legit, they had so much pride where they couldn't, like Jonathan said, they couldn't take a shove, they had to return it with a punch because they couldn't just let something go because it's like, no, we have to. I feel like if we let a push, a shove can lead to them punching us, so we have to deliver the first hit. You get what I'm saying? Or when they went to Belgium, Britain, they feel like, oh, people are gonna feel like, oh, Britain, they can be taken advantage of. It doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying? Or Russia, or like their alliances. I feel like people were with each other and like helping each other out because not because of their alliance, but so they could be seen as serious. You get what I'm saying? Because they could be like, oh, because they didn't help them out. They make like if I build an alliance with Julian, and then Julian gets into a fight and he calls me and I don't come, he would be like, oh, it's fine. He's a wimp. He doesn't take his agreements or anything seriously. So I feel like that should like help fuel that. You get what I'm saying?
Because what drove Austria to conquer Italy?
They wanted to
Okay.
figure it out.
What drove the guy to shoot? What's the guy's name? Pride, right? What drove Germany to start a war? National, like being prideful. So,
That's a good point.
if I could move, I move that way. You know, that ties in. It ties in my argument with your argument.
What about
What about? Explain.
anybody one of the reasons I have alliances? Like, you know how like
But why do you build up an army? To be the baddest out there, right? To be the best out there. And that's pride, right?
military it's like Austria has been in they have a huge military and it's strong military. They're like I don't know what country was that had the biggest navy. They're going to have big navy, that's what they're going to have. You know, like military is a big part. It's like you need to be it's like fighting big brothers, you know? It's like Austria is they're going to fight. So we find to be like, you know, because people are scared of each other. You know, and everyone do that. Everybody else.
So, yes, nationalism was like a big part of it, but I don't think you would have to worry about them testing you if you didn't have alliances. Like I still think alliances would be the most important because yeah, you're the biggest and baddest, and somebody calls you up, you're gonna have to go and handle it. But if you have no ties to that person, then I don't have to do anything. I'm big and bad and I'm big and bad by myself. I don't have to.
I think they go hand in hand.
But if like someone, if you're big and bad, and someone comes up with you and talks to you like, hey, let's go, you want to go, and you say no, it makes you look like you're not the biggest and baddest because you're scared. Because you're scared to go up, because you're scared to go up with it. If I call you out and you say let's go, Julian, and you decide not to, what do you think of like you're not the biggest and baddest no more? They're questioning your authority. That's what they're doing.
Still could be. It's just like you're not getting into a fight that's not your business. That's like kind of the difference with it. Because you can still be super powerful even if you don't go into fights with everybody. Or like help out people in fights.
But we say like maybe you could be serious, but we still as humans care about what people other think of us. If I know that I'm the biggest and baddest, but if people don't think I'm the biggest, I care about that. You know, I want everybody to know, including myself, that I'm the biggest and baddest.
You're saying that Germany was a part, right?
No, I don't see it.
So
Well, what's their
It's a move.
Yeah.
She's on. What's your argument? What do you think is responsible?
So Austria and Germany.
So you don't think it's responsible at all? If I join nationalism,
I mean, it's
Some
good.
German nationalism is like, because I didn't have to move, but I agree with him. But like,
It's because you said that the reason that the guy shot from
Friends were in there.
was because us he had national, he had pride in himself, right? And that's when everyone else tried after they ran. So So you're saying that Austria was caused.
I wasn't saying.
No, he's
Oh,
saying nationalism is
time out.
caused.
I wasn't saying.
Hold on, but this isn't set up like that. So
Yeah, but what about the other causes that other people bring in? He joined in Great Britain. He joined. We're
I think
sticking
we
it
should
all to
focus
three.
both on like the causes like nationalism and like on the national and then also the countries.
Oh.
So like we should focus on both Slovenia and
Okay, so where is your standpoint? Where do you stand?
okay, so I think it's both nationalism and the alliances. And then for countries, I'm like kind of strongly on this side, but I also kind of like think of Germany. Maybe because I have some thoughts. Because Germany was mostly worried about like countering Russia, so then it made me wonder if they actually helped Austria with Serbia. So then that made me like wait, maybe it is their fault because then it wouldn't have been like if they were just helping them, then it would have been made sense.
Question time. You said nationalism. Do you have a specific state or countries that you were going to blame? Because the end of the war, what is it going to blame?
My previous statement the other Friday was, I said the sandwich. Oh no, wait no. When I said the sandwich and I said the gun because industrialization was called, and it's like the long term.
But that's not a state. I'm asking like at the end of the war, we need to blame somebody.
Like
Who's it
either
gonna be?
Austria,
Yeah.
Russia,
Who's it gonna be?
I would Germany really. Germany, because it had too much. It had too much pride in itself to let something go. So it had to. Like you said, it was the biggest and baddest. It wanted to be the
But
biggest
like,
and baddest.
Germany didn't take over Austria.
Yeah.
And Austria started.
Austria is the one
Germany
that
wouldn't even have to
retaliated.
get involved at all if Austria hadn't like
Yeah, that's why I was like, because
hold on, and then nationalism and militarism and alliances. Hold on. Alliances were formed because, to me, Austria has no pride in itself, no nationalism, because that's what they had a bigger. Hold on. That's what, if you think about it. That's why they had a bigger and better army right behind them, the German army, right? I know, but like, okay, so like, if they thought they were so big and so powerful and they were so great, why didn't they fight the war themselves?
no, because see they.
And then what? Okay, so like, hold on. Why does anybody else have alliances and they do so big with that?
No, because it's like just in case.
I mean, because Germany didn't try to do it by itself.
An alliance is more of
But
like.
it's more like it's more like a backup plan. It's like say if I wanted to start fighting yeah, not really.
But
Okay, if I wanted to fight like you could easily take me out like a soldier. So yeah. It's like I would ask for help from like Thailand or Yemen or someone and there's just like a backup plan.
You could argue that imperialism was a big key to positive. Well, yeah, see, it's a big thing because if Austria didn't want to like start taking over other colonies, and anyone didn't want to start taking over, getting bigger, then it wouldn't be a problem. As if they were trying to be bigger, then if places were trying to be bigger, there wouldn't be a problem to start with. And that's why I was saying, like, if Austria had taken over Sarajevo, if they weren't trying to be
So militarism is under the table.
No, I think it's all of it because imperialism needs militarism so that you can actually take over places. Because otherwise, it's just like showing up, hey, I'm your boss, but you're not. But militarism is like, yes, I am. I can like cut your throat if you don't listen to me. Exactly, they go together. Is what I'm saying. I think all of it because they're all so interconnected.
Yeah, they all kind of feed off of each other. And assassination is not up there, but assassination played a
we're talking about all these factors, nationalism, alliances, all that. But at the end of the day, all the countries are linked around one thing. You can't blame it on nationalism and say nationalism, you paid me $20 million right here, right now. No, you can't
That's
say
why
that,
they
right?
blame Germany. That's why they had Germany pay it for everything.
Okay, but if it was,
Yeah, that's why they had World War II, because then they blamed it on the Jews too. Because they blamed Germany, and Germany was like, this is why they blamed us, it's a Jews' fault.
but if it was really Austria's fault, I feel like
Well, Austria kinda
why
bad.
did our past blame Germany if it was really Austria's fault on their argument?
Austria's fault.
Because Germany made it bigger. Germany didn't start it per se, but Germany made it bigger.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, no. Who's responsible for it is who started it. Austria started it, but Germany made it bigger. Like I said,
So Germany
every
was
fire
responsible for
needs
it.
a spark
No, they
to
were-
start
they were
it. The spark,
responsible
even
for
if it's
escalating.
little or big, it's still the spark.
They were responsible for
Fire
it.
just
They
doesn't
didn't
show
start
up
it.
out
They
of
But a
didn't
spark
start
can
it.
only do so much, and when you add wood into it, it gets bigger, right?
But
Yeah, but the spark is still what started
A
it.
spark can go away, but when you put wood into it, it gets bigger, right?
What-
So
what
who was
is the
responsible
spark
for adding the
still
wood?
Yeah,
started
but
it?
what do you think made it? Wait, Jonathan, but what do you think made it? If there wasn't that spark, if you put wood without a spark, it's just wood. What the
Okay,
heck is
but
it
if,
gonna do?
if you leave a spark,
The
alone, it goes away,
assassination
right?
of them.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's
so
like-
it would have not been a World War I without if you
And
left that spark alone.
exactly.
But the spark still.
Okay, you're trying to take all of that.
There's a thing called
it doesn't make sense when you
What does it
when
You're trying to take it all the way back.
when you try to take it all the way back to this is how it started, because you can always make it go back even further and back even further. Like, why did he make the wrong turn? Because he was confused because he was born in this place, so you can live this place and all this. Like, if you try to take it all the way back, you'll end up like, oh, the creation of the earth started this war. And so I feel like you can't say that this was the one, this is how it started, because you can always bring it back. You need to bring it to like the place where it turned into a world war. That would be start of it, because it's clear cut. You can't, because that's the start of the war. That's when the war started. That's like the World War started, not
But
the war. The
The
World War.
war that
Because
made it.
because
No,
what
but I
started
asked you
the
this
war?
yesterday.
So what made it
Okay,
a
okay,
World War?
okay.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
Okay, you can't make an opinion without thinking of only one factor. You have to think about everything. Okay? And then I asked you that question yesterday, if like alliances completely changed the war. Because you're saying like what made it the Great War, right? So then it's like a tiny war with Serbia and Austria, and then it's the Great War because Germany got into it. So, but it's the same war, but like the way you make it seem is like Germany made it a completely different war, and so that's why they're responsible for it, because they made it a completely different war. But it was just one war. It just started small and escalated into bigger.
When the war against Austria and then Serbia and Russia and France, when that war started, I don't think they called it like a world war. They called it the Austria, Serbia, France, Russia war. But when they got the
But the French got into it.
UK into it,
So then that wouldn't
when
make
the
sense.
biggest navy in the world got into it, that's when it became the Great War. So I feel like when it became the Great War, that would be the responsible when it became it. Whoever started it became it, But exactly, if
talking
you
about
think
it.
like
Wait,
that,
you're
you
like a
ask
little
somebody-
baby.
If you
all
ask
the
somebody,
way-
if you ask somebody
Yours.
about World War I, what names would you hear? Germany, France, Russia, Great Britain. Okay. Who would say? Very few people will say Austria and Serbia. We're talking about this big.
Because they're uneducated, that's what I'm saying. So they want to say Austria and Serbia, because they don't know what they're talking about.
Because Austria and Serbia aren't as well known. Austria fell as an empire.
Like you
So
were saying,
lots of people,
Germany was
so
huge.
you don't hear people talking about Austria nowadays. No, they're like, oh yeah, this happened in Germany or whatever. They're not like, oh yeah, in the 1900s this happened in Austria and then it fell as an empire. No, you hear stuff about Germany right now because they're still here. That's why people still blame Germany. Well,
It's
yeah,
just not
but-
Austria-Hungary.
yeah, but it's not as big, you know. It's not as powerful, and so, and that's why they blame the most powerful one. They blame countries decided to blame Germany because they had all this industrialization and all that, and so they couldn't afford to pay for this stuff. Like, what some of they were always starting to say. But still, they decided to blame them because they made the problem bigger. But when you think about it, like. Yes, you can take it all the way back to like when history began.
You can also
But-
do that with Germany.
Yes, you can, because you can be like,
Huh? How did Germany get its power? Because of this.
and
Oh,
how did
yeah,
that happen?
because of this.
Exactly. That idea that
Exactly.
And that's what you're saying. You're saying
so
Germany
exactly.
is one
It
thing.
sounds
One
ridiculous,
thing.
right? But that's what y'all
You think
doing.
It's not clear.
That's what
No, but
y'all
that's what you
doing.
guys are doing
It's
too.
ridiculous, right? Y'all think it's stupid. Exactly. It's
I'm thinking
stupid.
it's
That's why you
ridiculous
go when it became the World War. When
I'm
it
thinking
became
it's
the
ridiculous
Great
how
War.
you're pointing out that we go all the way back, and then you guys do the same thing because you're saying Germany.
I'm not. I
No,
said
You kind of are because you're saying, okay, Germany is the biggest and the baddest, and they have it because of nationalism, which became because of industrialization and blah blah and blah blah blah. But how did that all start? You could go back all the way to the beginning, exactly. And so by bringing up just any kind of point in history, you could do that. So you can't argue that. You can just say it started because of this. Okay, you can. No, I'm not because you're saying that. You're saying that Germany started it because of this, and you said that way it can't be like we can't argue for Austria starting it because then you go back in history, but then you're doing the same thing with Germany. Because if you're saying it's because they think they're big and bad, that's nationalism, and then it comes with imperialism and industrialization and all that, and you can go back to that too. And so if you want to fight for like Germany, you can also go back. And so same with Austria, but you're like you tell us we can't do that because even if you find one point to start with, then you have to go to everything because that starts everything.
Okay, wait. You don't have to go back like for every little thing, like saying, oh, and it's the gun's fault and industrialization, all that. You don't have to go back that far because yes, that all happens. Yes, there's guns. Yes, there's states and all this stuff, but you don't have to go back to like the creation to blame something for it because yes, we have it, but the state itself did not have to decide that it wanted to take over another state because they had guns and all of this stuff. That's not exactly. You can't just go back and blame everything for it because it would end up being like the state's choice to go and, like you said, shove the other person. You don't, like, you can't really go back and argue that it was something because something else, all the way to the beginning of time because different choices are made at different points in time. And you can choose to have the gun in your hand and to shoot someone, but you don't have to. And that's the point that I was trying to argue that, like, I'm not trying to go all the way back, but I'm saying Austria took over Sarajevo and that's what started it. And, like, they took it over. And you don't really have to go back farther than that. Because it was Austria's choice.
But you
Because
could
it's at that point.
everything. Some
You
other
could,
effects
but
could
that's not what we're
influence that.
trying to
So what do you stand, Julian? Who's fucking? You can take that back.
You can take it back.
You
No,
can take
but
that
I'm
all
saying-
the
Why
time.
is Great Britain?
But that's why I'm not.
But
That's
she
exactly
is.
what y'all are.
No, we're not. We're
Yes,
starting at a
y'all are
single
taking it
point.
back all the way when it
You
wasn't
said it.
a
You're the
war.
one that said that we were
Right?
taking it back. We weren't. We just said it was Austria's fault. That's all we said. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
why-
You
okay,
can take it back.
why
You
is it
can take
Austria's
back.
fault?
You can take it back.
Because,
Why is
okay,
that-
so because
that's
they
the point.
because they
Alright,
that's
started
the
it.
point.
You
You're
guys
taking
are
it
the
back.
ones trying
You're
to
taking
take
it
it
back.
back
Why
all
is
the
it
way to the
Austria's fault?
beginning.
You're
Why is
taking
it-
it back.
I'm not.
Wait,
I'm asking you a
let me
question.
ask.
Why is it Austria's fault?
Because they decided they wanted to take over Syria.
So why did you not stop when the guy shot? When the guy shot the other guy, why did you not stop there? Why did you keep going back?
We
Going
didn't
back
go
farther
back.
than what? I'm not going back any farther
No,
than saying
'cause you
Austria
could've-
took over Sarajevo.
No, you couldn't.
That
No.
was the first thing to me.
Alright. No, because when we talked about it, you first said it was Serbia's fault because
Oh, yeah, 'cause I
he
didn't
killed her,
know
and
that.
then you said, oh, and then you said why was there tension between them? Because Austria conquered Serbia. See, you're taking it back instead of saying, oh, when he killed them, that's when it started. No, you took it back even further. You're saying, oh, when Austria,
When Austria took over Serbia.
Austria did it,
But
Austria took over Serbia.
The guy wouldn't, they wouldn't, the little group of people, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, wouldn't have wanted to go and like assassinate Franz Ferdinand if their country, their city hadn't been taken over. Like it tipped them off, and so that's what made them mad and wanted to go shoot them and then escalate.
Alright, so let me jump in real quick to push you guys in a related but slightly different direction, unless you had something that you were
Oh yeah, you
No,
didn't.
I'm telling y'all after.
Say it.
I'll tell you after. I make a really strong case. So after we do the Treaty of Versailles, then I'll tell you what I think, but not until then. But all right. So y'all are talking like historians, and that's awesome. And the argument that I see unfurling is like, do historical events happen because of structural reasons, like big, like not a person's decision, but structures that are in place, like imperialism, nationalism, stuff like that? Or can we actually blame people and events for these things? So wherever you stand now, here's my question for you. What does that imply for who should be blamed for the war in the treaty? Like, if you know about the contents of the Treaty of Versailles, forget them for a minute. Pretend like you're the one who's going to be making these decisions. Good, even better. So, like, if it's imperialism, what then should happen after the war to fix it? If it's Austria-Hungary, what then should happen after the war to fix it? If it's Germany for escalating, what then should happen after the war to fix it?
I think I have an idea that it could be like the countries could come to an agreement to maybe stay the size they are until something happens within your country to like just ruin it or make it split into something else or whatever. Because you don't just like now we're all like all the countries are in a pretty like steady place. People aren't really trying to take over people. I'm not talking about but that was a lot. We're all in like a pretty good place. Our states are our states, and we're not really trying to get bigger or smaller. I don't know. I'm not trying to like conquer anyone anymore because we come to the point where we're all established. This is my land. Don't cross this line, because if you cross this line, it's gonna be a problem. So if we like go into the treaty at this point and say we're gonna stay the size we are unless something happens inside our country to change that, I feel like that would be something to go for it, because you're not really blaming anyone at that point, so no one's getting super defensive. But
So,
I
like,
feel like that's
cool, and that makes perfect logical sense, because if I remember correctly, you think that imperialism started, or like Austria-Hungary should have been there to begin with, and that, okay, right. So to, like, as you guys are discussing this, if you could do a solid big favor and just, like, before you say what you think, say, because I think the war was caused by Austria-Hungary, I then think that, or like include your preferred cause in your answer so that we can keep track of how logical everything is. But I got you.
because I think Austria started it. I think that it should be what I just said. I don't want to but what I just said, because at that point it's not super blame. It's not really blaming anyone, so no one can get really mad about it.
Well, when you get mad about the part that we don't need to work and open, we need to work.
Even look inside the country. No, I
because-
saw
because-
inside. Look inside the country. Yeah.
Because you just say,
Just like they do
oh,
stuff like
I
this.
win, so we basically won the war, but I wasted all this money for nothing.
Well, it's kind of like a waste of this money
just for
to
you
not
to say
go
the
back
same
to
time,
I mean, but-
just for you
I
to
mean,
not
but-
like pay me back.
They should have known that, like they should have
Yeah.
known the cost of a war. Like the Cold War, the
They don't
U.S.
think
and Russia
that.
had nuclear weapons storage, but they know what type of devastation that would do for the whole country.
They don't
You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Well,
or the
I
world.
mean,
You know,
They
they
don't
don't
think that at that point. We're all about.
I mean, the U.S. and Russia was.
I mean, I don't think, like, if you're going off of what I said, I don't think it's completely just wasting money per se, because
Because they
you're
can
kind of
never-
spending the money to not go back to war. And if you signed like the treaty that I like thought of right now, you spend the money to not go back and do it. And so everyone's cool.
And I feel like
Basically, just like Toran. Like the war was just like get let off some steam. Is the way they could think about it. And so then that way they have like a clear path for the future.
you actually
But it
decide
wasn't
that's-
a good path.
it's
No,
not
like
gonna
that's
It's not
happen. Like you,
yeah, it's not gonna happen, but it's like that's what they
It's
treat.
like a leap for faith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
leap for faith.
Okay.
Like you can hope that there's not a war. But
because
see,
you
but
don't
then-
know how history
no,
could
but then-
unfold. You said that yourself. You never know how history can unfold if it went down differently. Because it could go down any way that we could imagine. It could go down any way we imagine. So you're saying, oh, it wouldn't stop them, but it very well could have just stopped wars in general. We don't know that.
But
Using
because
like
they
your own
own
words from
some-
other discussions.
Because they blamed Germany when they got out.
But pretend like we don't know what
Never what?
exactly.
What are you guys talking about?
What I
Like,
said.
No, do we actually have to retreat?
Okay, so no, I can't explain the treaty.
But
Okay,
no, we're
the-
getting to the treaty on Monday. I want you guys
No,
to think
there was a
through it
treaty?
beforehand. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. At the end of the war, they always say
Yeah, so like think about like
It's
the
like
war
to keep the
costs
peace
money,
between-
lots of people are dead. The war damaged certain parts of the world more than others.
What would you want the
Didn't
treaty to be?
didn't that happen in Civil War?
Yeah.
Oh, that.
It's like just the way to just
What happened?
because I think Germany started the war. To me, Germany should pay the countries that they forced to get into it. Because Germany and France did not want to join until Germany invaded them. So that made France that made France lose money in war. So if Germany would not join in, would not gone through Belgium into France, France would have not been in war. They would be like,
It might have been.
I totally agree.
yeah, it might, but like, if,
Like,
okay,
wait a minute,
let's say Germany didn't go towards France, right? It only went towards Russia, right? France would have not
But
gone
then
into the
also
war,
they're
it would not
not
waste
going
money.
to France.
Great Britain, it was their choice to join the Union. So it was, so.
It wasn't
Germany
everyone's
should have
choice?
paid,
Yeah.
Germany shouldn't get, no, cause I feel like France, if someone attacks you back, I'm pretty sure you attack back.
We were almost
If someone attacks you first, I'm pretty sure you're gonna attack back. So I feel like Germany should be held responsible for the countries that they, because of nationalism, and because of imperialism, wanted to conquer and gain more land, they should pay those people. And like you said, anybody else, it was their problem, it was your choice, you made that choice, and you don't have to, you don't have to, you can't blame anybody for your choice.
Because, well, I blame Germany because to me, Austria made like, if I'm looking at this like a chessboard, Austria made like a pawn move. And when you're playing chess, when one person makes a pawn move, you move another pawn. You don't try to move your king or anything, or you don't try to move a rook or anything, because it's a small move. You do another small move, not something major to set off like, make it chaotic. You get what I'm saying? Germany.
Hey Nelson, what do you think? You haven't
You have
said
not said
anything yet.
nothing.
You've just been sitting there.
Okay, since I feel like Great Britain was responsible for World War One, I feel that nobody should pay with them because y'all yeah, they started the war, but like when you do treaties, it's usually like who's the bad guy and the bad guy. But I feel like there was no bad guys. It would just be like bad decisions and everybody was at a deficit. Nobody was at a advantage after the end of the war. So I feel like everybody, y'all just chill out. Y'all learned something today, but apparently they didn't. Because all the other
So
wars
who was
happened.
responsible? Oh.
He's been arguing that the whole
Okay,
time.
what do you think should be the treaty then?
Okay,
Like, because
just
we
say
need
because.
to-
Because I think that everybody anybody is responsible. I feel like everybody should do part equally.
But swear word, like all these
No, but like, no, but like, they will, so, it's like everybody will fairly complete themselves and like, like, do their own thing and just like let everybody do themselves and try to get along, but, and so, yeah, that's a mission. I think that it's a nice thought that people try to get along.
That's what
I agree with you.
Yeah, exactly.
After the war, after the war, I feel like Germany and Austria-Hungary's territories have to be moved. Because I say that because if I fight Jonathan and we sit next to each other in class, I'm not gonna want to be next to Jonathan because every time I look at Jonathan or I'm reminded of like he's next to me or he's close to me, I'm gonna remember, oh, I don't like that guy, and it's just I would do like be petty or do little things to like keep doing, you keep trying to like make them mad, and then Germany being Germany and being like very having a huge pride in itself and still being next to them could cause like a bigger conflict. So I feel like the territory should have been moved.
Hold on. But realistically, when you move a country, it's like North Korea. It's like if you move one of them away from like realistically, exactly. So you can't move a whole country.
And there was no more places to move it because everybody had like
The territory already.
like,
Unless you got it to another one.
yeah, that would just cause more work.
Right, so I hate to do this, but I want to give us time to process how you guys did because I thought this was really interesting. So stop this there.
Please.
Sit. All right, so first off, do we have any questions from the outside people? Did anybody, do the outside people have fully formed opinions at this point? Sort of?
Who agrees with reality? Who agrees with reality?
No, you got everywhere. Alright, so okay.
Can we take a vote?
Hang on,
Can we take
hang on.
a vote?
Alright, this is a complicated question. There is no correct answer. There are like multiple defensible arguments. So you guys all did great. I want to hear how, like, I want to stick around in a circle like we did last time. Like, what do you think went well? What was convincing? And what do you want to do differently next time? Yeah.
I think what went well is that everyone had a strong opinion and was able to really argue their opinion, like in an intellectual way, not just like, oh, it's wrong. Like no one did that, and I thought that was really good and mature of everyone, even if we don't agree with each other. I think everyone's argument was pretty convincing, even though we came from my subject. But and I think next time we maybe should work on not yelling over each other. It's not something we usually do, but it happened today. Maybe like one person at a time.
Okay, I feel well. That also you all had like good opinions that had somewhat reasonable reasonable like evidence and like motivations for it. Yelling over each other, I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was fun. Like it's not very like structured and but if we're in a school setting, then oh yeah, you don't talk over each other. But I thought it was fun in that regard. What we can improve on, I don't know, like maybe I don't know. I thought it was good.
I like the fact that we all have strong opinions and typically about this topic. What I also like was the way we can relate these kids sort of issues into something smaller, something we can relate to, like the chess. That pushing and shoving, and I like that we pick something that we can relate to, something that's actually possible. I was thinking earlier that we could like change is that everybody wants the same people. I feel like we should all say our opinion and like everybody. Let's say I have a question for Rihanna, I have a question for Steve, and so we can put like we have it here, like okay, let's say we put Austria right here, and we have the other people who are not Austria, and we start asking questions, then them defend themselves and us give the answer. Like, what's that called? When you call somebody to like speak in front of a jury.
Yeah, like putting them on the stand. I like
Yeah.
that idea.
Yeah, like, okay.
This
let's
is the
say-
last time we were talking about it.
Oh yeah, but we have other, you know.
Oh,
And
yeah,
plus, like, I
because
wasn't even gonna do a
Mexican is
discussion
horrible
today. You
too.
guys asked for this, so like, I can be flexible if like your ideas match with
Yeah,
what I need to teach you.
I
That's
would
totally
thought
fine.
of that. They're like, okay, Brianna, come here, like, we're gonna ask you some questions, and you can defend yourself about it. And then you say, okay, Julian comes sit down, we'll see, like, we'll ask Julian about his, like, point of view, and then get some answers from it, and then we can argue from there.
We can do that next week, actually. Go on.
What's the next week argument about discussion?
What did you ever say?
Whether it was fair.
Yeah. Given each country's perspective, whether it's
What's yours?
Oh, that's like
I'm
that's
not
like.
saying.
Why?
I'll tell
You
you
told us
later.
you
No, you told us
You
what
didn't
today.
tell us at the end.
Well, then I lied. I'll tell you next week.
Alright, we're not gonna.
Tell us right now.
We're not.
Can you
We're not
get
gonna.
that in written word, please, and like sign it?
Fair, I will. Okay.
Contract.
Fair.
No,
I'm legalistic.
When
It's just all
next week?
set in our own.
Alright, so next week we have.
We're not discussing anymore. We're gonna.
No, we are. I think we're gonna have our discussion on Wednesday. So Wednesday. Let's tell you.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay. Wait.
We're
Not
having a
that's
union.
it.
Can you sign that?
Like, yeah, get that in written word.
I'm gonna write it out for you and sign it because I like that you asked. Alright, I need everybody's full attention. If you were one of my writers, I would like to see your writing tomorrow if at all possible. I'd like a strong case. You can do this creatively if you want to do this from a perspective, Marcella, of any given country, that's totally fine. If you want to argue like a lawyer, that's totally fine too. For outside people, my feedback to you is like, great job listening. I saw you. I even saw some people taking notes, and I saw y'all nodding along with good points. So that's wonderful. That's what you should be doing, especially if you don't have an opinion. Inside people, thank you for always proposing interesting structures and for like being proactive about discussions. Y'all did great. Okay, you can pack up because there's 1 minute left. See y'all tomorrow.
I really just want to hear your opinion. I really want. I'm pretty sure it can convince some of us.
You can miss all of
It's
us.
not gonna change
That could be a challenge.
It might, but I'm pretty stubborn. So
All right.
What if we just
I
like,
just
come at
think
lunch
it was
and you
everybody.
just tell us?
I'm writing out a contract. I'm gonna put it up on the board.
okay.
I got Miss Minato to sign a contract.
Oh yeah, because she was like, if I ever use algebra 2 in my life,